Hi everyone, Fiona Pearman and Kate Bora, and we're continuing this conversation about it's a big, busy time of year. How do we get good at managing capacity and, importantly, enforcing boundaries? And today we're going to dig into how to for individuals. And I think, Kate, the place we always like to start is to get really clear. Um, we're always going to have too much to do. There's always going to be so many things on our plate. And so getting clear on what's important and what matters most now and what's going to potentially have the most impact or is most important. And it does take a little bit of work. It's not just an intuitive response. It is actually being prepared to judiciously and with discernment think about what's going on and then to make some good decisions, because it will inevitably feel really hard to say no to people, to contain our boundaries, and actually hold ourselves accountable around what we can and can't do.
Yeah, I think the good coaching question that we ask ourselves is, what am I saying yes to? And what am I saying no or not now to? We talk a lot about becoming your own best coach. I think you want to give yourself some space and permission with regards to saying yes because it's important, or perhaps saying yes because at the moment it feels too hard to say no, and that's okay. What you want to do is make sure that you create opportunity or make the commitment to dig into what's going on with that particular dynamic, that person, that circumstance. That means that right now, even though you really want to say no, it feels too hard. You want to start small. And I think this is really important. Don't go to the hard places first, which really reinforces what I was just saying. Where are the places where it's relatively easy to say no? And in fact, when I started practicing this, I was saying no where I was quite indifferent, where I was a yes or a no. And I actually started to take the opportunities where maybe it didn't matter, where there wasn't particularly any stakes or no stakes that felt material to me, to actually start to get into the rhythm and to feel what it was like to say no, to receive a reaction or response, and then be able to be okay with moving forward within that experience.
Yeah, I think this is this takes time. It takes a little bit of consciousness and it takes a willingness to be kind to ourselves as we do it. It's important to not feel that you have to do it all at once. Start to observe, start to see the paper dynamics. Perhaps there's a hierarchical structure, or you feel beholden to, or in the past you've always said yes to a certain stakeholder. These are the places that we quite often feel obligated, as though we don't have a choice. And just even beginning to question that, to, create some space to see what's going on beneath the surface. Because for many of us, we're doing this by default. We've got used to saying yes when we'd rather say no. We almost think potentially that it's part of my personality to, be accommodating, to be nice, to be kind. And yet it may be costing you too much and not giving you the space and time to do all the things that really matter. So as we start to understand some of those dynamics, some of those things that are going on, that's when it's worth starting to experiment. And again, as we're saying here, what are the small ways I can do this? What's the good language you can use? We talk a lot about finding the language that works for you, that feels authentic, that you can own, that you can share, that you can explain to someone, hey, I hear that's really important to you. I hear that's a priority. We've got this big list of things to do. How would you help me be discerning and decide which I'm going to do now and which we're going to maybe put on the back burner for now? And being willing to experiment with that language, to have those conversations. It may feel a little bit tricky and uncomfortable at first. And that's part of the work here, is starting to uncouple the default belief that I have to say yes, that I have to do everything in order to be liked or to be part of, to not upset the apple cart.
Yeah, I think it's important to recognize that it likely feels uncomfortable because we are uncertain or fearful of the reaction or the response from the other person and or the impact that it may have, whether that's on future opportunities, whether that's on being liked, and we know that's a really big one. So useful to pay attention to that. And I think finally, no, it's not a no forever. There will always be opportunities to say yes. to more things. And so that can really help settle our mindset and settle some of the uncertainty and fear that might come up when we think about what could happen if and when we do say no. I think the time of year says lots of opportunities, not just to practice this professionally, but I'm going to say as we head into the Christmas break, we find ourselves, having to say yes or feeling like we have to do a whole lot of stuff, which can actually compromise the value of the rest. And the break that often many of us get at this time of year. So encouraging you again in those small low stakes spaces, we call them small acts of confidence, to really look for the opportunities where you can start to build your awareness around what's going on for you when it comes to saying no with confidence, and equally pay attention to what really is important, and what is it you want to say yes to, and what do you need to say not now to, not only in the next couple of weeks, but of course in the year ahead as we look to plans for 2025.
Yeah, look, everyone, we're going to leave it there for now. If you've enjoyed today's confidence conversation, you'd like to share it with your network, please tag people and do so. If you'd like to go deeper and to learn a bit more about our work, we've got a ton of videos over on YouTube, a whole lot of topics to dig into. Might be a great thing to do as we head into having a little bit more space and time. And look, when you're ready to go deeper with your relationship with confidence, visit our website, coreconfidence.com.au.